Have you ever felt that unspoken tension when you walk into a room full of your relatives? It's like an invisible wall forms as soon as you arrive, even though no words are exchanged. You might catch the quiet glances, the way the conversation pauses, or the awkwardness in the air. It's not obvious to everyone, but you feel it like your very presence disrupts something in them. And you can't help but wonder, why does it feel like the people who are supposed to celebrate you are often the ones who feel the most uneasy when things are going well in your life? It's a confusing and unsettling experience. You've probably asked yourself more times than you'd like, why does this happen? Why does my success make them uncomfortable? When you should be receiving cheers or congratulations, instead, you're met with silence or worse, passive-aggressive comments. It can feel like you're walking on eggshells, trying to figure out what you did wrong, or why your very existence stirs up this kind of unease. You may have even questioned your own worth, thinking that if only you were different, maybe they wouldn't act this way. But here's the thing. Chosen one, this isn't your fault. The tension you feel, the discomfort others project, it's not about you personally. It's about what you carry. What's really happening here is deeper than just family dynamics or personal differences. The truth is, you are carrying something within you that others, especially your family, can feel, but may not fully understand. You're the one who's been chosen for something greater, and that is what triggers the silent resentment you're sensing. Now I want you to pause for a moment and take this in. The reason why some of your closest relatives may feel uncomfortable when you rise is because of the light you carry. They may not even be aware of it themselves, but your presence is a reminder to them. A reminder of what they could have achieved. A reminder of what they might have given up on. And while some may feel this subtly, others might feel it as a full-on spiritual clash. They see your potential, but rather than celebrating it, they feel threatened by it. You see, chosen one, it's not that you've done anything wrong. It's that your success, your growth, and your very being challenge the limits they've accepted for themselves. And that for some is a hard pill to swallow. It makes them face their own choices, their own fears, and perhaps even their own regrets. And rather than grappling with those uncomfortable truths, they turn it on you. They feel the need to pull you down, to diminish your light, because your shine reminds them of what they may never have had the courage to pursue. But here's what I want you to understand right now. None of this has anything to do with your worth. The truth is, your presence in their lives is a direct challenge to the limitations they've set for themselves. Whether they know it or not, you are embodying a higher calling, a greater purpose, and it makes them confront their own paths, their own choices. And that's where the discomfort comes from. So before you dive deeper into trying to understand their behavior, I want you to take a deep breath and realize that it's not your responsibility to shrink yourself in order to make others comfortable. You were not chosen to fit in with the family's expectations. You were chosen to break free from them. Your light is not something to apologize for, it's something to embrace. As we go deeper into this journey, I want you to begin seeing this tension differently. The discomfort they feel isn't an attack on you, it's a reflection of their internal battle. Their silent resentment is simply the acknowledgement that you represent something they can't yet fully understand. But their inability to embrace your light does not diminish your purpose. It only confirms it. You might have spent years trying to figure out why your own relatives seem uncomfortable with your success. Maybe you've tried to get closer to them, hoping to build stronger relationships or seeking validation for your growth, but all your efforts end in the same confusing result. Silence, passive-aggressive comments, or worse yet, coldness. Have you ever stopped to wonder if there's a deeper reason for this? If it's not something you did wrong, then what is it? Let me tell you something important. Chosen one, you are not the problem. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking you are the one who's flawed, especially when those closest to you don't seem to appreciate your efforts or your success. You might wonder if there's something wrong with your character, or if you're too ambitious, too outspoken, or too different. Maybe you've even tried to dim your light, play small, or adapt to fit in with their expectations. But no matter how much you shrink yourself, it never seems to make things better. Does it? That's because your problem isn't about you. It's about your calling. The truth is, you were never meant to blend in. You were not chosen to be ordinary or to walk a path that everyone else walks. Your very existence challenges the limitations that others have imposed on themselves, and that's uncomfortable for those who are not yet ready to break free from their own self-imposed chains. This discomfort is not an indication that you've done something wrong. It's a sign that you're doing something right. Your rise forces others to confront their own fears, their own doubts, and their own missed opportunities. Do you see it now? Chosen one. The resentment you feel from your relatives, the envy they quietly harbor. It's not because of something you did. It's because you are a living reminder of everything they could have been, but chose not to pursue. When you succeed, when you rise above, you reflect their own unspoken limitations and unrealized potential, and that triggers something deep within them, something they may not be able to articulate but feel nonetheless. You represent the things they fear: change, growth, risk, freedom. And instead of embracing that, they resist it. The reason they feel uncomfortable around you is because they subconsciously know that you are the one breaking the generational cycle. They know that you are the one who has been chosen to disrupt the patterns that have bound your family for generations. You carry the weight of a greater purpose, and whether they acknowledge it or not, your very presence forces them to confront everything they are afraid of. You challenge their reality simply by being who you are. And here's the reality: no matter how much you try to make them accept you, they can't. Not because you're unworthy of their acceptance, but because they are not ready to accept the truth about their own lives. It's not that they don't love you, chosen one. It's that your success is a mirror to their insecurities. They see in you the things they could have done, the dreams they left behind, the opportunities they didn't take. And that's hard to deal with. Instead of celebrating you, they withdraw or resent you because they are confronted by their own unhealed wounds. Your spirit, your calling, your light, it's too much for them to ignore. It forces them to face their own limitations, and that's something people will often fight against. Have you ever heard the phrase, hurt people, hurt people? This is what's happening. Their resistance to your light is not a direct reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their own unresolved pain. When they see you shine, they are reminded of their own fears, disappointments, and missed opportunities. The hardest thing to accept in these situations is that you can't control how others react to your light. No matter how much you try to fit in, no matter how much you tone yourself down or make yourself smaller to avoid triggering them, you won't be able to make them feel comfortable with your rise. And that's okay. You're not here to fit into their expectations. You are here to rise above them. You were chosen for something greater, something that goes beyond the comfort zones of your family, and that's exactly why they feel threatened. I know it hurts. Chosen one, it's difficult when the people you love don't seem to understand you, when they don't support your success, or when they make you feel like you're doing something wrong just by being who you are. But hear me now, you do not need their approval. You don't need their validation, and you certainly don't need their permission to shine. The more you try to shrink, the more miserable you'll become, because you were never meant to hide your light. The divine didn't give you that gift so you could dim it for others' comfort. Instead of looking for approval from people who can't see your true potential, I want you to focus on walking in your purpose. Embrace the truth that your calling is divine, and it will not be silenced by the discomfort of others. You are not here to conform. You are here to break free. When you understand this, the resentment from your relatives will lose its grip on you. You will no longer be weighed down by the need for their acceptance. You will stand firm in the truth of who you are, and the people who truly matter will recognize your worth. The resentment you feel from your relatives is not a reflection of your inadequacies. It is a reflection of their own inner battles. They may not even realize it, but the way they act toward you is rooted in their unresolved fears, disappointments, and unhealed wounds. They may have dreams they've abandoned, goals they've given up on, or paths they've turned away from, and seeing you rise above them only highlights their own struggles, and that's not easy for anyone to face. But let me tell you, chosen one, your light is not something you should apologize for. You were chosen for a purpose, and no matter how much others resist it, that purpose will continue to unfold. The people around you may not always understand it, and that's okay. You don't need them to. You just need to keep moving forward in your divine purpose. The more you walk in alignment with your destiny, the more you will start to see the truth of who you are, and the more others will begin to see it too. I know it's hard when the people you love don't seem to understand your journey. But remember this, you are not on the same path as them. You are walking a different road, one that's been marked out for you by the divine. And it's not always going to be easy. The higher you rise, the more resistance you will face, not just from others, but from within yourself. But you must remember that this resistance is not a sign that you are doing something wrong. It's confirmation that you are on the right path. The more you rise, the more your light will trigger the shadows in others. And that's okay. Let it be. You were never meant to fit into their mold. You were created to break it. And as you continue to walk in your light, you will inspire others to do the same. Some may never accept it, and that's their journey, not yours. But for those who are ready, for those who are willing to embrace the truth of your calling, they will come around. And for those who can't, you must learn to walk in your purpose regardless. So, chosen one, take a deep breath and let go of the need for approval. You don't need anyone's permission to rise. You are chosen, and that alone is enough. The resentment you feel from your relatives is not a reflection of your worth. It is a reflection of their own struggle with their own limitations. And the more you shine, the more you will break free from those limitations. Keep walking in your light. Keep walking in your truth. Now that you've begun to understand why some of your relatives react the way they do, it's important to grasp one of the most critical truths about your journey. As the chosen one, you carry a spiritual mark. This mark isn't something you earned through your actions or achievements. It is divine, imprinted upon you from the moment you were conceived. It's an invisible mark that others feel before they even know who you are or what you stand for. And while they may not consciously recognize it, this mark is the very reason your family experiences discomfort when you rise. You were set apart. Chosen one. From the beginning, your life was never going to be ordinary. Your soul was designed for something greater, something beyond the patterns and traditions that may have bound your family for generations. That divine imprint on your spirit isn't something you can erase or hide, no matter how hard you try. It's part of who you are, and it's what sets you apart from the rest. But here's the challenge while you carry this divine mark. Not everyone is equipped to understand it. Not everyone is spiritually attuned to the weight of your calling. In fact, many of the people closest to you, those who share your blood, may struggle to comprehend the significance of your rise. And that struggle manifests in resentment, envy, and discomfort. From a young age, you probably noticed that you were never quite like everyone else. Maybe you felt more deeply, saw the world through a different lens, or had a wisdom that seemed out of place for your age. You might have even been told by others that you were too much or too different. Perhaps people didn't understand why you didn't quite fit into the mold they expected you to occupy. And while it may have been frustrating at the time, this was no accident. This was the divine working within you, calling you towards something greater, something that others could not yet understand. The people in your family might have seen this difference in you long before you recognized it in yourself. They might have sensed that you weren't going to follow the same path they did, and that's when the tension begins. Because when someone in a family rises, it challenges the comfort zone of everyone else. It forces them to confront the possibility that they too could have done more. Your success serves as a reminder of their own untapped potential, and often instead of being inspired by it, they become resentful of it. This divine mark you carry has been there from the start, and it shapes everything about you, your mindset, your attitude, and your ability to overcome obstacles. The truth is, this mark is not just a gift, but a burden. It's a responsibility that many people simply aren't prepared for. It's why the family members closest to you, the ones who have seen you grow up, often feel uneasy in your presence. They may even try to undermine your achievements or diminish your light because on a subconscious level, they are intimidated by the power you carry. And let me be clear, this is not about you. This is about the divine calling you've been given and how it challenges the status quo. You're not here to fit into their expectations or follow their rules. You are here to break new ground, to set a new standard, to rise above what they thought was possible. That's why your very existence disturbs the comfort of those around you. You remind them of what they could have been, what they didn't dare to become, and that's not something everyone is prepared to face. Some of your relatives may try to suppress you, either intentionally or unintentionally, because your rise exposes their own limitations. They may feel as though you are threatening the family's established order, or worse, making them face the uncomfortable truth that they've settled for less than they were capable of. This discomfort doesn't come from malice, but from fear. Fear of change, fear of stepping into the unknown, and fear of confronting their own missed opportunities. And yet, chosen one, you must realize this. You don't need their validation. You don't need their approval, and you certainly don't need their understanding. You were not created to be understood by everyone, and that includes your own family. You are on a path that was divinely designed, and not everyone is ready to walk that path with you. Some will fall away, some will resist, but there will also be those who see your light and are drawn to it, even if they can't fully explain why. The divine mark on your life doesn't come with a roadmap. It's not a path that everyone can walk with you. It's a unique calling that only you can fulfill. And while that's powerful, it can also be isolating. Because as you move forward in your purpose, you may find that fewer and fewer people truly understand you, even those who have known you your whole life. But you must embrace this truth. Your journey was never meant to be a crowd pleaser. Your family may not recognize the divine purpose on your life right now, but that doesn't change the truth of who you are. The divine has already marked you. You are set apart for greatness, and no amount of resentment, no amount of resistance from those closest to you can change that. It's important to understand that this mark is not a curse. Though it may feel like a burden at times, it is in fact a blessing. The divine saw fit to choose you for something great. And that calling comes with challenges. Challenges that will test your character, your faith, and your resilience. But with each challenge, you are being refined, shaped, and prepared for the destiny that awaits you. So as you continue on this journey, remember this: you were never meant to blend in. You were meant to stand out, and while that may make others uncomfortable, it's exactly why you were chosen. You are not here to follow the same path as everyone else. You are here to lead. You are here to break free from the chains of mediocrity and rise into the fullness of your divine purpose. Now I know that this can feel like a heavy responsibility, and it can be difficult when you sense the resistance from your family. But I want you to understand something important. Your rise is not about you alone. It's about the legacy you're creating, the example you're setting, and the doors you're opening for others to follow. When you step into your calling, you pave the way for others to do the same. Your success becomes a beacon of hope, a sign that it's possible to break free from the constraints of the past. So yes, the mark on your life is different, and it will make others uncomfortable. But let me assure you, you are not meant to hide it. You are not meant to shrink back. The divine chose you because you are equipped to handle this challenge. You are equipped to rise above the resistance, the confusion, and the pain. You were chosen to break generational chains and create a new path. And as you walk this path, remember that you are not walking alone. You may not always see the people who are walking beside you, but they are there. And in time, you will find them. You will find those who recognize the light you carry, those who understand the purpose you are fulfilling, and those who will celebrate your rise. But most importantly, you will find your true self, the person you were always meant to be. Now that you have a clearer understanding of the divine mark that sets you apart, it's time to dive deeper into one of the most crucial aspects of your journey: envy. Envy is a powerful destructive force, and it's something that you will undoubtedly face as you continue to rise in your purpose. This is especially true when it comes to family. But the truth is, envy is not just a personal issue. It's a spiritual battle that must be recognized and understood. Envy is one of the oldest and most insidious forces of the spirit. It doesn't just live on the surface. It seeps deep into the soul, poisoning the heart and clouding the mind. When someone envies you, it's not just about a passing feeling of jealousy, it's a spiritual sickness that affects the entire being. And when that envy comes from within your own family, it can feel especially painful because they are the ones who should be the most supportive. Yet time and time again you find yourself facing subtle hostility, passive-aggressive behavior, and even outright resentment from those who are supposed to love you unconditionally. You might be wondering, why does this happen? Why do people who are closest to me, who have seen me grow, resent me? The answer lies in comparison. Envy is triggered when someone sees something in you they don't believe they have or can attain. And when it comes to family, this is often amplified by the fact that they've witnessed your entire journey. They know where you came from, they know your struggles, and yet they can't understand how you've managed to rise above. In their eyes, it feels like a direct challenge to their own limitations. And this is where envy begins to fester. It's essential to understand that envy is not a rational emotion. It doesn't make sense. It's not logical. It doesn't care about your character, your achievements, or the kindness you've shown. Envy doesn't play by the rules of fairness. It doesn't care if you've worked hard for your success or if you've been humble in your accomplishments. Envy will twist your every action and interpret it through a lens of insecurity. The more genuine and kind-hearted you are, the more it can trigger that deep, painful emotion in others. This is why sometimes even when you try to be humble, your family's resentment seems to intensify. It's because your authenticity, your ability to succeed without arrogance, exposes their pretense. Your peace highlights their chaos. Your joy reminds them of their emptiness. Your resilience exposes their weaknesses. And rather than taking inspiration from your rise, they allow their envy to transform into bitterness and jealousy. They can't reconcile the fact that despite coming from the same background, you've managed to break free from the patterns that bind them. But let me tell you something important. This is not about you. Envy is never about the person being envied. It's always about the person feeling the envy. It's about their own internal struggles, their unhealed wounds, and their own insecurities. Envy is a reflection of their inability to deal with their own limitations, and rather than confronting those limitations, they project them onto you. When you are chosen, when you rise above the patterns and limitations of those around you, your very presence forces them to confront their own fears and regrets. And that's where envy takes root. It's not that they hate you personally. It's that you remind them of the potential they've never realized in themselves. You remind them of the opportunities they let slip away, the dreams they gave up on, and the paths they were too afraid to take. And this reminder is painful. It's like holding up a mirror to their insecurities, and rather than seeing that as an invitation to grow, they see it as a threat. At this point, you might be thinking, "But I haven't done anything to deserve this. I've tried to be kind. I've tried to support them. I've never meant to make them feel bad." And that's exactly the point, chosen one. You've done nothing wrong, but your very existence is a challenge to their comfort zone, a direct reflection of what they are unwilling to face about themselves. Your rise exposes their fears, and instead of dealing with those fears, they turn that energy toward you. It's important for you to grasp this truth. Envy is a spiritual battle, not a personal one. When you face envy, especially from family, it's not about your actions or who you are as a person. It's about what you represent. You represent freedom. You represent growth. You represent a path that they either didn't take or were too afraid to follow. You remind them of what could have been and what they're still holding back from. And that's hard for some people to face. Think about the story of Cain and Abel. Cain didn't hate Abel because Abel had wronged him. He hated Abel because Abel's offering was accepted by God and Cain's was not. The acceptance of Abel's offering exposed the lack in Cain's heart, and instead of looking inward and examining why his own offering wasn't accepted, Cain chose to lash out in jealousy and resentment. This is the nature of envy. It doesn't want to confront the truth of one's own shortcomings. Instead, it seeks to destroy what it cannot have. And this is why, chosen one, you must learn to not take it personally when your family resents you. It is not about you. It is about their internal battle with their own limitations. It's about their struggle to accept the truth that you are breaking the chains they feel unable to break. And as difficult as it may be, you must not internalize their envy. You cannot allow their resentment to define you. Their feelings cannot change the truth of who you are. You are chosen. And no amount of envy, no amount of resistance can erase your divine calling. Instead of taking their envy to heart, I want you to begin seeing it for what it truly is: confirmation. Their resentment confirms your purpose. Their discomfort confirms your anointing. Their hatred confirms your destiny. You see, chosen one, when you face envy from your relatives, it is not a sign that you are doing something wrong. It is a sign that you are walking in alignment with your divine purpose. The more you rise, the more their discomfort will intensify, but instead of seeing it as a negative, reframe it as evidence that you are doing exactly what you were meant to do. The more you shine, the more your light will reveal the shadows within others. And that's uncomfortable for them, but it's the very process that's helping them face their own shadows, even if they don't recognize it yet. It's also important to recognize that envy is not something you can control. You cannot force people to stop resenting you. You cannot make them accept your success or your path, but you can control how you respond to it. You have the power to choose how you let their envy affect you, and the best way to handle envy is to not engage with it. Don't feed into the negativity. Don't retaliate. Don't lower yourself to their level. Instead, stay focused on your path. Keep walking in your purpose, and let your actions speak louder than any words ever could. Remember, your rise is not about making others comfortable. It's about fulfilling the calling that was placed upon your life. As you move forward, know this: every time you face envy, it's a sign that you are on the right path. Every time someone resents your light, it's confirmation that your light is shining exactly as it should. Now that we've explored the nature of envy and how it manifests within your family, it's important to dive deeper into the spiritual dynamics at play. You see, when you begin to walk in your calling as the chosen one, you will encounter not only personal battles, but also generational patterns, the deeply embedded cycles that have governed your family for generations. These patterns may be invisible, but they have a profound impact on how your family responds to your rise. And, as the chosen one, it is likely that you are the one meant to break these cycles, a role that can bring immense growth, but also tremendous resistance. Generational patterns are the unspoken traditions, behaviors, beliefs, and ways of thinking that are passed down from one generation to the next. These cycles are often rooted in fear, poverty, insecurity, or even unresolved trauma. Families may not even be aware of these patterns, yet they shape the choices, attitudes, and actions of every member. And here's the truth: when you step into your divine calling, when you begin to rise above the limitations set by these patterns, you disrupt them. This is why your family may resist your success. Chosen one. It's not just about you personally, it's about the spiritual systems that have existed in your family for generations. These systems are often deeply ingrained in the very fabric of your relative's identity. And when you rise, when you break free, you challenge the comfort of these systems. You're not just stepping into a new version of yourself. You're confronting the spiritual forces that have kept your family bound. Some of these generational patterns are easy to see, like poverty, addiction, or cycles of broken relationships. But some of them are more subtle. They can manifest in things like limited thinking, fear of success, or an unwillingness to take risks. And as the chosen one, it's likely that you've experienced some of these limitations too, perhaps in the form of doubt or hesitation when it comes to your own path. You may have wondered if you were on the right track, if you were truly meant for greatness, and whether it was worth pushing through the resistance you feel. But here's the thing, you are meant to break these cycles. You are the one chosen to rise above the fear, the doubt, and the limitations that have held your family back for generations. And because of this, you are often seen as a threat not just by your relatives, but by the very spiritual forces that have been at work within your bloodline. Generational curses are not just emotional or mental, they are spiritual. They are spiritual resistance to change. They are the forces that whisper you can't and you shouldn't whenever you try to step into your power. And they will manifest through the people closest to you, those who are most affected by these cycles. But understand this, chosen one, their resistance is not personal. It's a reflection of the spiritual forces at work in their lives and in your family. You may notice that the closer you get to your breakthrough, the stronger the resistance becomes. You might face challenges not just from your relatives, but from the very circumstances that seem to hold you back: financial struggles, family drama, negative energy. And these challenges are not accidental. They are spiritual battles meant to distract you, to weaken your resolve, and to prevent you from stepping fully into the fullness of your divine calling. But here's where the truth becomes clear. Every challenge, every obstacle is a sign that you are on the right path. The resistance you face is not a sign of failure. It's confirmation that you are breaking free from generational limitations. You are doing something that has never been done before in your bloodline. You are rising to heights that your ancestors only dreamed of but were too bound by fear to reach. And this spiritual resistance is pushing back because it fears the change you represent. It fears the freedom you are stepping into. But let me tell you, chosen one, you were born for this. You were born to face these battles and to rise above them. You carry within you the strength to break through the spiritual resistance and to set a new course for your family. And every time you overcome these obstacles, every time you push past the resistance, you weaken the grip of these generational cycles on your bloodline. Your family may not understand what you're going through, especially if they are still bound by the very patterns you are trying to break. They might criticize you or try to discourage you because on some level they are afraid of the unknown. They are afraid of what your rise means for them. They are afraid of what it will cost them to break free from these patterns. But you must understand that their resistance is not about you. It's about their own inability to see the possibility of change in their own lives. This is why it's so important for you to stand firm in your purpose. You are not just breaking free for yourself. You are breaking free for your entire bloodline. You are the one who has been chosen to set a new course, to create a new future, and to break the chains that have kept your family in bondage for generations. And while your relatives may resist you now, eventually they will see the fruit of your labor. Eventually they will see that your rise is not just about you. It's about the freedom of your entire family. In the midst of this spiritual battle, it's crucial to recognize the importance of spiritual boundaries. As the chosen one, you will face resistance not just from the people around you, but from the very forces of darkness that seek to keep you bound. And this is why it is so important to guard your energy. Protect your spirit and maintain a strong connection to your divine purpose. You cannot afford to allow the negativity of others to weaken your resolve. You must stay focused on the path before you, even when the spiritual forces of resistance seem overwhelming. You must learn to recognize the signs of spiritual warfare, the constant feelings of doubt, the negative energy that seems to follow you the way your relatives try to pull you down. These are all manifestations of the spiritual resistance that exists in your bloodline. But here's the truth. You are stronger than this resistance. You were chosen to break through it. And with every step you take forward, you are weakening the hold it has on your family. Now, chosen one, I want you to remember this every time you rise above the resistance. You are not just changing your life, you are changing the course of your entire family's destiny. You are stepping into a new chapter, one that has never been written before, and it is your faith, your perseverance, and your unwavering commitment to your calling that will ensure your success. As you continue on this journey, remember that the resistance you face is not a sign of failure. It is a sign that you are doing exactly what you were chosen to do. You are breaking free from the chains that have held your family back for generations, and with every step you are setting a new course for those who will come after you. You were born for this moment, chosen one. The battle may be fierce, but you are equipped to win. Keep moving forward, keep breaking the chains, and know that with each victory, you are not only fulfilling your purpose, you are fulfilling the destiny of your entire bloodline. As we've journeyed through understanding your divine mark, the spiritual resistance you face, and the generational patterns you are here to break, there's one more crucial aspect to address the family conflict dynamic. If you've been walking this path as the chosen one, you've likely encountered deep emotional wounds, misunderstandings, and at times downright hostility from the very people who should be your strongest support system. The struggle to rise above these familial tensions can feel like an uphill battle, one that sometimes makes you question whether it's all worth it. But I need you to understand this clearly. Family conflict is not a sign of failure, it is proof of your calling. When you step into your purpose, when you begin to walk in alignment with the divine path set before you, it will create a ripple effect. You see, your rise does not exist in a vacuum. Your spiritual journey is intimately connected to those around you, especially your family. And for many chosen ones, this connection can cause an intense spiritual conflict, because when you break free, when you begin to rise in ways your family never expected, you disrupt everything they know. You challenge their way of thinking, their comfort zones, and even their self-perceptions, and that is where the tension begins. Family dynamics are deeply complex, often built on years, sometimes generations of shared history. Trauma, unspoken expectations, and old patterns. So, when one person, especially you as the chosen one, begins to rise, it forces everyone else to look at themselves and their place within the family structure. This can be incredibly unsettling, and for many people, their only defense against feeling threatened is resentment. Instead of embracing your growth as a source of pride, many relatives might feel that your rise exposes their own failures, their own lack of progress, or their own unrealized potential. At this point, you might be wondering, why is this happening? Why are the people closest to me who should be happy for me acting so distant or hostile? The answer is simple yet painful. Your rise forces them to confront the truth of their own lives. When you break free from the patterns they've lived with, it shines a light on the fact that they too could have done more. They could have chosen differently. They could have taken risks. And instead of being inspired by your courage, they become intimidated by it. You represent the very change they've never had the courage to pursue. But here's the truth. Chosen one, their discomfort with your success is not your fault. It's a reflection of their own insecurities, fears, and unresolved wounds. They are struggling to accept the reality that you are breaking free from the same chains they are still bound by. And instead of looking inward and addressing their own limitations, they may choose to project their frustration onto you. This is a spiritual battle they are fighting, and you are not the cause. It is their own inner conflict that manifests as resistance to you. But even in the midst of this conflict, you must understand one vital thing: you are not alone in this struggle. Every chosen one, every person who has ever risen above the limitations of their family has faced this tension. And it's not just a test of your strength, it's a test of your resilience. The more you rise, the more resistance you will face, not just from your family, but from the very forces that seek to keep you bound to old patterns. But remember this: every conflict, every disagreement, every moment of resistance is not a sign that you are failing, it's a sign that you are succeeding. When your family resists your rise, it's not a personal attack. It's not that they don't love you, it's that they cannot see what you see yet. They are still trapped in old beliefs, old patterns, and old fears. They are not yet ready to step into the same freedom and purpose that you have been called to, but that doesn't make their resistance any easier to bear. You may feel isolated, as though no one truly understands what you are going through, and at times you may even wonder if you've made the right choices. The emotional distance and hostility from family can be painful, and it can make you second-guess your path. But I want you to understand something important. Your journey is not meant to be easy. It is meant to challenge you, to refine you, and to help you grow into the person you were created to be. And just because your family does not understand your purpose, it does not mean you are on the wrong path. In fact, it often means you are exactly where you need to be. So how do you navigate this tension without losing your peace? How do you stand firm in your divine calling while facing opposition from those closest to you? First, let's talk about boundaries. As you continue to rise, it will be essential to establish strong spiritual and emotional boundaries with your family. This doesn't mean that you cut them off or stop loving them. It simply means you need to protect your energy, your peace, and your purpose. There will be times when your family's behavior becomes toxic or draining. You may encounter criticism, judgment, or even outright hostility. And in those moments, you must remind yourself that their words and actions are a reflection of their internal battle, not your worth. You cannot allow their negativity to derail you. It's crucial to recognize when to engage and when to step back. This is not about avoiding conflict. It's about protecting your energy and staying focused on your path. Setting boundaries also means refusing to play into old family dynamics. There may be patterns of manipulation, guilt-tripping, or passive-aggressive behavior that have been present for years. As the chosen one, you will be tempted to fall back into these patterns, especially when you feel the pressure from family to conform or shrink. But this is where you must make a choice. Will you continue to play the role they expect you to play, or will you rise above it? One of the hardest parts of walking this path is accepting that some family members may never understand your journey. They may never accept your calling, and they may never celebrate your success. And while this is painful, it is also a crucial part of your spiritual growth. You must stop seeking approval from people who cannot see your vision. You must stop seeking understanding from those who are spiritually blind to your purpose. Your journey is not theirs to walk. You are not here to convince them. You are here to walk in your purpose, regardless of their response. But here's where it gets tricky. You must also learn to love them. Yes. It's true that their behavior may cause you pain, but you cannot afford to carry bitterness in your heart. You cannot afford to let their resentment take root within you. If you do, it will only weigh you down and hinder your progress. Forgiveness does not mean accepting mistreatment or pretending that everything is okay. It means releasing the burden of resentment and choosing peace over bitterness. You must forgive not for their sake, but for yours. And while forgiveness is essential, it's equally important to practice compassion. Recognize that their resistance is born out of fear. Fear of change, fear of the unknown, fear of losing control, and while you can't change their hearts, you can choose to respond with empathy instead of anger. Compassion allows you to remain grounded in your purpose even when others are trying to pull you down. As you continue to rise, the final key to navigating family conflict is accepting your role as the breaker of chains. You were chosen to break free from the limitations of your family, to shatter the patterns that have kept them bound for generations. And while this is a noble calling, it is also one that requires great strength and resilience. Your family may never understand the full extent of your purpose, but that doesn't diminish its significance. You are the one who has been chosen to shift the trajectory of your bloodline, and that is not an easy task. Your rise will be difficult. There will be moments of isolation, misunderstanding, and heartache. But remember, chosen one, you are not alone in this. You have the strength to break these chains. You have the wisdom to navigate this journey with grace. And most importantly, you have the support of the divine who has called you for such a time as this. Family conflict is not a sign that you are failing. It is proof that you are walking in your calling. Keep moving forward. Keep standing firm in your purpose, and trust that the divine is with you every step of the way. As we continue to explore the path of the chosen one, there is one crucial concept that will truly empower you to move forward, transforming resentment into growth. The journey you are on is not just about overcoming obstacles, but about taking the struggles, the conflict, and even the resentment directed at you, and using them as stepping stones to elevate yourself further into your purpose. This is not a passive journey. It is an active process of turning challenges into opportunities. And when you understand how to do this, you will gain an incredible strength that will carry you forward, no matter what resistance you face. The reality is this: you will face people who resent you, family members, friends, acquaintances. And while this resentment may come from their own internal struggles, fears, and insecurities, it still has the potential to hurt. When the people closest to you resent you, it feels deeply personal, and it can be incredibly painful. Yet, what I need you to grasp right now is that their resentment does not define you. Their anger, their jealousy, their discomfort with your rise, none of this should ever diminish your sense of self-worth or your divine calling. Instead, it should be seen for what it truly is: confirmation of your purpose. Here's the truth. People only resent what they see as valuable. Mediocrity does not elicit jealousy. Ordinary people do not inspire envy. It's when you rise, when you begin to step into your true potential, that others start to notice, and some of them will respond with resistance. But that resistance is not a reflection of who you are. It is a reaction to the divine light you carry. And if you can begin to see their resentment through this lens, it loses its power over you. Instead of allowing it to hurt or discourage you, you can transform it into a powerful tool for growth. The first step in transforming resentment into growth is to shift your perspective. Instead of seeing the resentment as an attack on your character or your worth, see it as proof of your light. You are a walking confirmation of something greater, something that others may not fully understand or may even fear. But the fact that they resent you is not because you're doing something wrong. It's because you are challenging them to rise to a higher level of consciousness, even if they don't recognize it. Your presence in their lives forces them to face parts of themselves they've been avoiding. Think about the story of Joseph in the Bible. His brothers resented him not because he had done anything wrong, but because of the favor he had with their father and the dreams that foretold his greatness. Instead of celebrating his potential, they saw it as a threat to their own significance. They threw him into a pit and later sold him into slavery. Yet through all of Joseph's hardships, he never lost sight of his purpose. He was able to transform the hatred and betrayal into a testimony of faith, perseverance, and divine providence. In the end, his brothers came to him in desperation, needing his help. The very people who had rejected him were the ones who ultimately needed him the most. Joseph did not allow their resentment to break him. He used it to propel himself into the destiny he was meant for. This same principle applies to you, chosen one. Do not let the resentment of others dictate your path. Instead of sinking into bitterness or self-doubt, choose to transform that energy into something positive. Use their anger, their jealousy, and their discomfort as fuel for your personal growth. Every time someone resents your progress, let it remind you that you are stepping into your divine purpose. You are living out your calling, and that alone is enough to make others uncomfortable. But transforming resentment into growth requires emotional maturity. You must not react impulsively to the negativity that others throw your way. Do not engage in petty arguments, retaliation, or bitterness. This only lowers your vibration and keeps you stuck in the same cycle of negativity. Instead, take a step back and reflect on your own response. How can you use this moment of tension to strengthen your character? How can you rise above the drama, the gossip, or the passive-aggressive comments and continue walking in your truth? One of the most powerful tools you have in this process is detachment. This doesn't mean that you stop loving or caring about your family or that you disengage from them completely. What it means is that you stop letting their opinions, their judgments, or their resentment have a hold on your spirit. You must learn to separate yourself from the emotional baggage they try to place on you. When you stop internalizing their resentment, you free yourself to grow without the weight of their negativity. Detachment also allows you to view situations more clearly. Instead of reacting emotionally to their comments or behavior, you can see them from a higher perspective. You can understand that their resistance to your rise is not personal, but rather a reflection of their own unresolved issues. This understanding will prevent you from internalizing their negative energy and help you to move forward with grace. The second step to transforming resentment into growth is using it as motivation. There is nothing like the sting of envy to push you to prove yourself. When someone doubts you, questions your worth, or resents your success, you can use that as motivation to keep going. Let their words and actions fuel your determination to rise higher. When they say you can't prove them wrong, when they look down on you, show them your strength. Use their jealousy to power your resolve, your work ethic, and your commitment to your divine purpose. However, it's essential to channel this motivation in the right way. This isn't about seeking revenge or trying to prove them wrong for the sake of pride. It's about proving to yourself that you are worthy of the calling placed on your life. It's about showing the world, and more importantly yourself, that you are capable of overcoming any obstacle, no matter how much resistance is thrown in your path. This mindset is not about arrogance, but about self-assurance. You are not walking this path to prove anything to others. You are walking it to fulfill the divine purpose that has been placed in your heart. But when you face resentment, it can serve as a reminder of the power you carry within you. The more you rise, the more you shine. And the more you shine, the more others will notice your light, both positively and negatively. Let their envy be the fuel that keeps your flame burning brightly. The third step in transforming resentment into growth is to refine your spirit. Resentment teaches you important lessons about patience, discernment, and emotional intelligence. When you are the target of jealousy, it forces you to learn how to handle conflict with wisdom and grace. You become more aware of the motives behind people's words and actions. You learn to read between the lines and recognize when someone's hostility comes from a place of insecurity rather than malice. This increased emotional intelligence is a tool that will serve you for the rest of your life. You also learn to love without attachment. When you understand that others' resentment is a reflection of their inner turmoil, you stop taking it personally. You start to see their resistance as an opportunity to practice compassion, to show grace, and to walk in love without expecting anything in return. This doesn't mean that you tolerate mistreatment or allow yourself to be a doormat. It means that you refuse to let their negativity affect your ability to love. You choose to rise above their bitterness and respond with kindness, knowing that their resentment is their burden to carry, not yours. The final step to transforming resentment into growth is to rise above pettiness. It's easy to get caught up in the drama, the gossip, or the competition that comes with familial resentment. But remember, you were not chosen to engage in these low vibrational activities. You were chosen to rise above them. Your success is not about getting revenge or rubbing your achievements in others' faces. It is about living out your divine purpose with authenticity, integrity, and grace. Your growth will speak for itself. You don't need to lower yourself to the level of those who resent you. Instead, let your actions, your success, and your unwavering commitment to your purpose be the proof of your calling. As you continue on this journey, chosen one, know this: the very resistance you face will become your stepping stone. The more they resist, the higher you will rise. The more they resent you, the more you will be refined and strengthened. Use every moment of hostility, jealousy, and discomfort as an opportunity to grow. Each challenge you face is not meant to break you, it is meant to build you. With every step forward, you are breaking the chains of limitation, both for yourself and for your family. Your rise is not just for you, it is for the generations that will come after you. So when you face resentment, don't shrink back. Don't allow their negativity to stop you. Instead, embrace it as confirmation that you are walking in your divine purpose. Use it as fuel to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Keep rising. Chosen one. The world and your family needs you to shine. Now that you've come to understand how to transform resentment into growth, there's another key aspect of your journey that demands your attention: embracing your unique path with boldness. As the chosen one, you are not here to blend in with the crowd. You are not here to conform to the expectations placed upon you by your family, society, or even your own doubts. You are here to shine a light so brightly that others cannot help but take notice. But in order to do that, you must walk boldly in your purpose without hesitation, without fear, and without apology. When you embrace your unique path, it can often feel isolating. The road you are on is not one that many have walked before, and that can make you feel like an outsider, even among those you love. Your choices may not always make sense to others, and they may not always understand your vision. But this is where you must cultivate a deep trust in your inner guidance and the divine calling upon your life. The truth is, most people will not understand your journey. The higher you rise, the more you will realize that the path you walk is not for everyone. You are chosen because you have something unique to offer the world, something that cannot be replicated or ignored. And in order to fully embrace this, you must be willing to stand firm in your identity and reject the pressure to shrink yourself in order to fit into the expectations of others. Walking boldly in your purpose means refusing to dim your light to make others feel comfortable. It means owning your greatness and no longer apologizing for who you are or the gifts you bring to the table. You were not chosen to be invisible. You were chosen to stand tall, to speak your truth, and to step into your calling with confidence. But this requires courage. The courage to be different, the courage to stand out, and the courage to face the inevitable resistance that will come from those who cannot yet see the fullness of your potential. Let's break this down further. Chosen one, in order to walk boldly, you must first stop hiding your light. Too often you might have tried to downplay your gifts, your achievements, or your potential because you feared how others would perceive you. Perhaps you've held back thinking that if you just stayed in the background, if you just played it safe, you would avoid conflict or disappointment. But let me tell you something important. Hiding your light does not protect you, it limits you. When you downplay your brilliance, you're not just holding back from others. You're holding back from yourself. You're blocking the very energy that was meant to fuel your rise. When you dim your light, you are not only doing yourself a disservice, you are doing the world a disservice. You were chosen to shine, not to hide. You were given your gifts, your abilities, and your destiny for a reason to make a difference. And you cannot make that difference if you are constantly hiding who you are. So what does it look like to stop hiding your light? It means being unapologetic about your talents and abilities. It means no longer shrinking in the presence of others' insecurities. It means stepping into rooms with confidence, knowing that you belong there, even if no one else understands why. It means speaking your truth, even when your voice shakes. It means embracing your uniqueness and allowing yourself to stand out, even when it feels uncomfortable or risky. Next, to walk boldly in your calling, you must embrace consistency. Boldness is not about occasional bursts of confidence. It's about showing up every day with unwavering faith in yourself and in the divine purpose that guides you. People may not always understand your journey, and they may not always cheer you on, but that cannot stop you. You must keep moving forward step by step, trusting that the path you are on is leading you exactly where you need to go. The world will often wait for you to fail, especially if you're doing something different. People will watch, waiting for you to stumble, hoping that you will give up or fall short. But your job is to keep showing up no matter what. Consistency is key. Whether you're facing doubt from family or resistance from society, consistency silences the critics. It proves that your faith is unwavering and that your purpose is not just a passing fancy, it is a calling that you are committed to seeing through. Now, let's talk about trusting your voice. As the chosen one, you have a unique perspective, a unique voice that is needed in the world. But sometimes, especially when facing resistance, you may doubt whether your voice matters. You might feel like no one will listen or that your ideas are too radical or too different. But the truth is, your voice was given to you for a reason. It carries wisdom, insight, and truth that can change the world. But in order for your voice to have impact, you must trust it. Trusting your voice means speaking up when others are silent. It means sharing your vision even when it seems outlandish or impossible to others. It means writing the stories, creating the art, building the businesses, or launching the projects that have been placed in your heart. And it means doing this with the full knowledge that your voice matters. It doesn't matter if your family doesn't understand it or if society tries to silence you. Trust your voice and let it be heard. Resilience is another vital quality that will support you as you walk boldly in your purpose. The road ahead will not always be easy. You will face challenges, setbacks, and obstacles that seem insurmountable. There will be moments of doubt, moments when you question whether you are on the right path. But resilience is about continuing on the path, despite the obstacles, knowing that you are being prepared for something greater. Resilience means that when life knocks you down, you get back up. When people criticize you, you keep moving forward. When you face hardship, you don't give up. You use it to build your strength. The chosen ones are often forged in fire, shaped and refined by the difficulties they face. And it's this resilience that will carry you through the most difficult moments. It's the inner strength that allows you to keep moving even when the road gets tough. Your ability to bounce back from setbacks and rise above adversity is what will ultimately lead you to success. Finally, walking boldly means embracing leadership. You might not have asked to be a leader, but your divine calling has already placed that responsibility on your shoulders. As the chosen one, people will look to you for guidance, for inspiration, and for strength. Whether you recognize it or not, your journey is not just about you. It's about leading others toward their own breakthroughs, their own freedom, and their own purpose. Leadership is not about holding a title or having authority over others. It's about living a life that inspires others to do the same. It's about walking with integrity, showing compassion, and living with conviction. Leadership is about living your truth, even when others question it. And it's about using your rise to help others rise as well. You must embrace your role as a leader, whether it feels comfortable or not. People are watching you, and though they may not always show it, many will be inspired by your ability to walk boldly in your purpose. Even in moments of doubt, your leadership can serve as a beacon of hope for others who feel uncertain about their own journey. In conclusion, chosen one. Walking boldly in your purpose requires courage, resilience, and faith. You must stop hiding your light and allow yourself to fully embrace the unique path that has been set before you. Trust in your voice, remain consistent in your actions, and lead with integrity. Know that the road will not always be easy, but with each step forward, you will inspire others and prove to yourself that you are exactly where you are meant to be. It's time to walk boldly. Chosen one. The world needs you now more than ever. As we journey deeper into the spiritual truths of your path, there is one crucial piece of wisdom that will allow you to navigate your journey with strength and clarity: the importance of boundaries and wisdom in relationships. Being the chosen one means that you will encounter a great deal of spiritual resistance from others, particularly from those closest to you. This resistance often manifests as negative energy, criticism, or even manipulation. And while these reactions can be painful, you must remember you are not obligated to absorb or tolerate negative energy, especially not from those who should be supporting you. Boundaries are essential to protecting your energy, maintaining your peace, and staying aligned with your divine purpose. As the chosen one, you carry a light that others can feel, and this light can attract both positive and negative attention. Those who are aligned with their higher selves will be drawn to you for guidance and inspiration, but those who are struggling with their own limitations, insecurities, or unresolved issues will often seek to drain your energy or undermine your growth. This is why setting clear, healthy boundaries is not just important, it is essential for your spiritual survival and success. Boundaries are not walls that shut people out. They are the invisible lines that you draw to protect your peace and maintain your alignment with your higher calling. They allow you to stay focused on your purpose without being derailed by negativity or toxicity. Boundaries teach others how to treat you, and they send the message that you will not tolerate disrespect, manipulation, or emotional draining. And while boundaries can sometimes feel uncomfortable, especially when they come from people you love or care about, they are necessary for your growth and well-being. It's also important to understand that boundaries are not a form of rejection or condemnation. They are simply a way of taking care of yourself and your energy. They are about protecting your spiritual and emotional well-being so that you can continue to fulfill the divine purpose you've been given. People may not always understand why you need these boundaries, and they may even resist them, but that is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to honor your path and protect your energy, even if it means distancing yourself from people who do not honor your journey. The first step in setting boundaries is to recognize when your energy is being drained. This may be difficult at first because, as a compassionate and loving person, you want to help others, especially your family. But not everyone who comes into your life is aligned with your higher purpose. Some people are on their own spiritual journey and they may be struggling with their own issues. While it's important to offer compassion and love, it's also vital to recognize when their negative energy is starting to affect your peace. You must be able to discern when it is time to pull back and take care of yourself. The second step is to communicate your boundaries clearly. This can be difficult, especially with family members, because you may fear that setting boundaries will cause conflict or hurt their feelings. But the truth is, if you do not establish healthy boundaries, you will continue to feel drained, confused, and conflicted. And this will only take you away from your divine purpose. Setting boundaries may require having difficult conversations where you assert your needs and let others know what you will and will not tolerate. This might mean saying no to certain requests, limiting your time with certain people, or walking away from situations that no longer serve you. Remember, chosen one. You are not responsible for how others feel when you set boundaries. Their feelings are their responsibility. You must be firm in your commitment to protect your energy, even if it means disappointing others or making them uncomfortable. By setting clear boundaries, you are teaching others how to respect you and how to interact with you in a way that honors your higher self and your divine purpose. One of the biggest challenges you will face as the chosen one is the emotional pull of family dynamics. Family is often the place where we experience the most love, but it can also be the place where we experience the most pain and resistance. Family members can sometimes be the hardest to set boundaries with because they expect you to conform to their expectations or stay within the roles they have assigned you. But as you rise, you will begin to realize that your purpose is not defined by family expectations. You cannot fulfill your divine calling if you are constantly trying to fit into a box that others have created for you. In these moments, it is crucial to remember that you are not obligated to carry the burdens of others. Just because someone is family does not mean that you are responsible for their emotional well-being or their happiness. You are not responsible for fixing their problems, absorbing their pain, or constantly making sacrifices for their comfort. Your path is your own, and it is meant to lead you toward growth, expansion, and purpose, not to keep you stuck in old family patterns that no longer serve you. You will find that some of the most challenging moments of setting boundaries come when your family members try to guilt trip you or manipulate you into sacrificing your peace for their comfort. They may accuse you of being selfish or distant, or they may try to make you feel guilty for not prioritizing them. But here is where you must stand firm in your truth. You are not being selfish for protecting your energy and following your divine calling. In fact, you are being self-aware, and you are honoring the divine assignment that has been placed on your life. Setting boundaries with family may involve saying no to gatherings or events that feel emotionally draining. It may mean reducing contact with relatives who are consistently negative or toxic. It might also mean creating physical or emotional space when you feel that their energy is overwhelming. And while this can be painful, remember that your responsibility is to protect your energy and stay focused on your purpose. Your calling is greater than any familial expectation or obligation. And by protecting your peace, you will be able to give more of yourself to the world in a way that is aligned with your higher purpose. Another important aspect of setting boundaries is recognizing when relationships are no longer serving you. Sometimes family relationships can become unhealthy or even harmful. If you are constantly being belittled, criticized, or emotionally drained by certain family members, you may need to reconsider the level of involvement you have with them. It's not about cutting people off out of anger. It's about recognizing when it's time to let go of toxic dynamics and create space for healthier connections. This can be one of the most difficult decisions to make, but it is essential for your spiritual growth. Let me be clear. You do not need to explain yourself to anyone when you set boundaries. You do not need to justify your choices or your need for peace. Your boundaries are your right, and they are necessary for your well-being. The more you honor your boundaries, the more you will cultivate the inner strength and clarity you need to walk in your divine purpose. As you continue to rise, remember this: your growth will trigger resistance in those who are not ready to grow. Family members may feel threatened, confused, or even angry when you step into your full potential. But this is not a sign that you should back down. It is a sign that you are doing exactly what you are meant to do. Their resistance is not about you, it is about them. It is their struggle to accept the light you carry, and while you cannot change their hearts, you can protect your own energy. Ultimately, boundaries are about self-respect. You are worthy of peace, love, and respect. You are worthy of fulfilling your divine purpose without constantly being pulled into toxic dynamics. And as you continue to walk boldly in your calling setting, and enforcing boundaries will become one of the most powerful tools you have in your spiritual toolkit. In the end, remember this: you are not here to please anyone. You are here to fulfill your divine purpose, to rise above the limitations of your family, and to create a new path for those who come after you. And in order to do that, you must honor yourself. You must protect your peace guard, your energy, and trust in the wisdom that has been given to you. By setting healthy boundaries, you are ensuring that you can continue to rise, to grow, and to step into the fullness of your divine calling. And when you protect your energy, you create space for your light to shine brighter than ever before.